Congratulations, you are finally able to compose a complete instrumental full of various elements including melodies, chord, bass and drums, and you go online, you go over to YouTube, you make your account ready to share your beats to the world. But you know something? What's wrong with it? Your drums aren't hitting the same as everybody else. You listen to things like this. And maybe this. And the drums are hitting so hard, and then you listen to yours and it sounds something like this. Well, I'm going to show you in today's video a very interesting way that you can make your drums hit harder in the mix, and certain things that you need to be doing in every single piece of production. Now, I'm not doubting your ability to make the beats, I'm doubting your ability to mix and master. Beat makers and producers aren't mixing and mastering engineers. They make the beats. But it is your job to make your beats punch through and attract the listener's attention. We're going to start over on one of my own beats, and we're going to play the drums just on their own. So we've got a good rhythm here. I'm expecting you at this stage to be able to make something like this, a nice catchy bouncy rhythm with good sound selection. There are two main things that you want to add to your drum bus, which is all of your drums. To create a drum bus, you want to head over to your sounds, hold Control and Shift and drag. Now it's going to select all of these. You can right click down below at this arrow here and click root to this track only. Then you can go ahead and rename it to drum bus. The first thing we want to add is a compressor. Our goal here is to create parallel compression, which is going to glue the sounds together. Parallel compression is a technique where you get an extremely compressed version of that sound and mix it with the dry version. What we're doing here is to create dynamics in the drums and enhance their presence and impact without sacrificing the natural dynamic. Now you want to follow these settings. We've got the threshold at -28, ratio 13:1, gain 10, attack 9.8, release 204. Now we can change and adapt this to our liking, but this is a good basis to start from. Let's hear it now with our parallel compression fully mixed. So we've not yet mixed the wet with the dry. We're going to hear exactly what the wet sounds like before we mix it. So let's hear it. As you can see, it's definitely louder. You can mess with the threshold. This is making it way softer. I'm liking the way this sounds. Obviously, the kick seems just a little weird and it doesn't sound quite right yet. So what you want to do is you want to grab your mouse and head on over to here, and we're going to mix this all the way down. Now I like a comfortable 10%, but again, you can mix it to how it sounds. Remember, use your ears and determine what sounds good for your track. Whew, sounding so much better. So now if we turn this off, and then on, you can hear that it's hitting a little bit more. Now to exemplify this effect, we're going to add a saturation plugin. So we're going to go on to our next one. Now I will show a free alternative after, but this is paid. This is called Little Radiator. So you can either buy this plugin or skip to the free alternative. Now this is a saturation plugin. So what it's going to do is it's going to bring our sound to life. Now we're going to put the mix all the way up here and the heat just on nothing. We're going to apply the effect and just loop our drums. Now as you can hear, once we turn this up, our drums are hitting way harder. So we can turn the heat up and turn the mix down a little bit. Yeah, I really love Little Radiator because it's very, very simple with only 2 knobs, and it allows your drums to go from just sounding to way, way, way better. We're going to compare it without and then with. Now this has got your drums sounding 10 times better from 2 plugins already. But what if you don't have Little Radiator? Well, let's mute this and let's load up another plugin, which is called Saturation Knob. So we're going to play our drums again, and you can hear how this is doing a similar effect. So once we have it here, we can mix it however we like. There you go, that's 2 ways to do it. It's just a saturation plugin, and saturation knob will be in the description. Either works. So now we've got our drum bus and our drums are hitting hard. But what about when we add our bass? Listen to this. What? Okay, so it doesn't quite sound like the kick is punching through that 808. When the 808's hitting and when the kick's hitting, they're kind of clashing. We want them to go through each other. So a way I like to do this is by taking advantage of the Fruity Peak controller. Now what this allows us to do is every time the kick hits, we're going to change the frequency in the 808 and just cut it out for a single second when the kick hit. Now first step, you want to load up an EQ over on your kick. Done. Now you want to play the kick just on its own. Now you're going to see the frequency come up here. Now you want to find the peak of this. Okay, looks like it says 60. So remember 60 in your noggin. Now you want to reset this EQ. You don't want to boost any frequencies in your kick. Now you want to head over to your 808. Load up parametric EQ and you're going to move whichever one you want. I usually do use the second one. And you're going to move this all the way to 60. So now it's exactly where our kick is hitting. Next up, you're going to make sure you've loaded a Fruity Peak controller over on your kick. Go back to your 808. Now we're going to double click on our EQ and you're going to find the second slider here. Now you're going to right click on this. Link to controller. Peak, control, peak. Remember, it has to be from the kick. Now we're going to click accept. Don't worry, this seems very, very complicated, but you'll get there. Keep replaying the video if it confuses you and slow it down. You got it. What's happened is we've got the frequency from where the kick is peaking and we've put it on our 808 and told the controller where it is. So now our controller knows where it is. We're going to tell the controller that every single time our kick hits, we want to remove that from our 808. So let's load our peak controller. We're going to put it on the default. And what you want to do is you can load up your EQ at the same time. Wait, how do you do that? By clicking detached. So we can just have our EQ here. So this is our 808 EQ. We're going to put it down here. And we're going to open up our controller. So when you mess with the bass, it's going to show you where that frequency is going to start on the slider. So as you can see, as we move it down, it goes down, up, it goes up. So this is going to be the value it's at when the kick is not playing. So when it's at default. So we don't want our 808 to be boosted or not boosted. So we're going to put it to just in the middle, which is 50%. Now, when we play the kick, we want the volume to go down. So we're going to make sure this is set to, down 30%. We can change and adapt it in a minute. Now, decay is how long it takes to go back up. If I play this now, you can see every time the kick hits, it's taking a certain amount of time to go back to its base position. Now, if we turn decay up to about 80%, you can see it's quicker. Now, if we turn it down, the 808 barely has time to go back to normal. So I like to keep this around 75%. I feel like it's good. Now, what you want to do as well on your EQ is you want to go over to it and you want to scroll down on your scroll wheel. Now, this is going to narrow the amount of frequency that is being cut. So as you can see, this is a very fine amount. If we scroll up, there we go. Now, I don't think this is cutting out quite enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn down this volume to 200%. So this is completely cutting out here. And we're just going to slowly put it up and listen. Remember, anything above 50 is just going to cut everything out because our bass is 50%. I like that. We still want a little bit of our 808, but we want the kick to punch through. So this is a very minimal difference, but it goes a very long way in making your beats hit harder. So let's listen to our transformation so far. This is before. Just pretty boring. It doesn't quite work, does it? Now we're going to enable our effects. Now, another common issue in people's beats is when they're using a sample like this one, they forget to realize that there might be some bass inside of that sample. Now, what you want to do is you want to take an EQ and cut out that bass, because what that bass is going to do is it's going to clash with your 808 and make your beat sound muddy and terrible, and people are not going to want to buy it. So I hope this video helped you become a better producer. Keep producing and keep improving, and let me know what you want to see in the comments, and let me know if there's anything that I can work on and improve. Appreciate you guys. See you in the next one. Peace.